Hello, everybody in the world. This is Paul Gilbert. I am here today in Portland, Oregon at Strom. They have lots of guitars here, including mine. And I'm here to tell you about a new collaboration with TC Electronic with the MOJOMOJO pedal. You know about that pedal. I've been using it for years. There is an E chord with nothing on it. I've been using just a straight, dry, clean sound, which is easy to get. That's the nice thing. If you're allowed to travel, you can usually get a straight, dry, clean sound. And then I start turning stuff on. First thing I'm gonna let you hear is my reverb pedal. This is a TC Electronic Arena Reverb. Ooh, it's got reverb now. Then also a TC Electronic Alter Ego delay pedal. By itself, hear that little bop bop. And I put that together with a reverb. And suddenly, you know, it's not so stark. But I still need something, need some distortion. And my leave on all the time distortion pedal for much of my career has been the MOJOMOJO, TC Electronic MOJOMOJO. Now here's the difference. Here's a chord without it. Here's a chord with it. It's got that nice fuzz on it. But even when the nice thing is I can play soft. That's a huge difference. Without it, you look at the face. That's not a happy face, but with it. Life just is way better with pressing that button. So if I need more than that, I've got, you know, like a wah-wah pedal. Crybaby. But the whole time I leave those three TC pedals are just on all the time. That's my sound. And then everything else you just add to it. When I was a little kid, I wanted to play guitar because of the Beatles. I heard things like this. I'm not even sure if that was a guitar. I didn't know what a guitar was. I just saw pictures of them holding it, and they sang so cool. And my parents had all the records, so I would stand in front of my mirror, play the Beatles records all day. But then the real serious guitar happened when I started to hear like Jimmy Page, you know, doing that. And he had it down really low, and his pants were high. That combination is really good. So that got me into playing. All right, I'm gonna tell you the best guitar advice I ever got in my life. That was from my Uncle Jimmy Kidd. He was about 20, I was about 10. And I was doing nothing but just making a racket on my guitar, you know, banging away. And he said, put your hand on the bridge. So I took my hand and I put it on the bridge, and it got all chunky and tight and cool. Instantly, I couldn't believe it. So that was really good. And you can start to play like Great White Buffalo. And then you can play Van Halen. And it was just wonderful. It were just, you know, just those sneaky sounding and chunky chords. So that was the one thing he told me. The other thing he said, if you want to be any good, you got to practice all the time. So I tried to do that. And he said, when your guitar is a fire-breathing, howling monster, you got to turn your volume control down at the end, and then that's like your noise gate. And that way you won't be feeding back and making horrible sounds. So thank you, Jimmy, Uncle Jimmy Kidd. You're awesome. And I tried to steal my vibrato from him. Maybe a little bit of Ace Frehley in there too. I have another signature distortion pedal, the JHS PG14. And if I use that by itself, I would say it has a little more mid-range, whereas the TC has this low end. But together, when you put them both on, ooh, check this out. That's what, like, if I want to do some fast picking stuff. that's where that gets good. So that all fits onto a, I don't know how big it is. It's I can fit about 8 pedals on here. It's got Velcro. And that's my rig. Oh, I could fly beneath the wings of the bluebird as she sings. The 6 o'clock alarm would never ring, but it rings and I rise, wipe the tears out of my eyes. The shaving razor's gone and it stings. Cheer up, and then it goes high. But man, that wasn't Mickey, that was Davy from the Monkees. And you know, Hendrix opened for the Monkees, and everybody loves Hendrix. I love Hendrix too, but do not underestimate the power of the Monkees. And they had a song called Someday Man. Some people always complain that their life is too short, so they hurry it along. And it's got these time changes, it's like prog pop. Check out Someday Man by the Monkees. Am I guilty about this pleasure? Not at all. I'm proud of all the music that I love. And the Monkees, you know, other people might feel guilty about that. But long live Davy Jones, man. All right, I'm going to tell you where I put the knobs on the MOJOMOJO. There's also a switch in the middle. My particular Paul Gilbert MOJOMOJO has a switch that goes to 11. And that's, you need that. You got to be able to go to 11, so it's got an 11 switch. Right now, I've got 11 on. Sounds good, doesn't it? You know, I like the chords, but I also like the single note. It's dynamic like that. But anyway, I've got, let's see, I've got the drive at about 3 o'clock. The bass, if there's anything about the MOJOMOJO besides just the overall good distortion tone, is that bass knob has the best bass frequency I've ever heard in my life. I really like where it's set. And that was my first impression of the pedal when I got it. The thing I love about it now. And you know, if you get like a Marshall JCM 900, which has no bass in it, this is like the Band-Aid that fixes that amp. And I've needed it. You go on the road, you're doing a gig in Thailand, and they're like, all we got's the JCM 800 or 900. And like, okay, good thing I got my MOJOMOJO. So that bass knob just has this nice, the low end you want. Treble, I just have straight up 12 o'clock because I don't really need much more treble. It's good. I mean, if I need it, I got headroom. You can have more, but I'm good with that. And the volume, I also have 12 o'clock. I should mention the bass is also around 3 o'clock. And as I said, it's on 11. It's the 11 switch. Just give it a little more push, which is nice to have. You know, in case you don't have 5 distortion pedals rigged up, you can just hit that, and it almost sounds like you got 2 distortion pedals. Every engineer that hears this, they're like, use that one. All right, let's talk about scales. Now, one thing about scales is you tend to go up and you tend to go down. I do too. I learned something to get us out of this, and that is to stay on a note for a while. You can still pick it, and you can sort of squeeze different tones. It doesn't have to be the same. You're not trying to be a robot. You're trying to be a human being with that note, so you can get all kinds of cool things, and then, you know, then move around a little bit. This is actually a scale exercise I made for one of my students, and I used it in my song, Hello, North Dakota, something like that. And it's still, you know, got scaly elements, but it's that really helps it out a lot. The other thing is to learn the obla-di, obla-da bass line. That's so important because you can play obla-di, obla-da, but also because it brings the third up from below. approach the third from below. And anything that's even got the tiniest little amount of blues or soul to it almost always comes up below that third. So you play the whole bass line of that song to get it in your muscle memory, and then when you play your solo, and you start coming into your third from below. And it's just way more soulful. So the other one is when the Saints come marching in. It's actually 666, the number of the beats. And that's the other good lick. So you either do obla-di obla-da, or when the Saints come marching in. And then you got all your phrasing licks together with those two. All right, go play. All right, were you counting? That was 120 notes exactly, which is why I put 120 on my power supply on the pedal board. Actually, that's a lie. The real reason I put that is because everywhere you travel in the world, there's different voltage. That is the strangest thing. Why can't we agree on voltage? If we can't agree on voltage, are we doomed as a species? But anyway, how do you manage it? You write in the biggest numbers you can find the voltage of your pedal boards, so your guitar tech doesn't plug it into the wrong voltage and blow it up. New guitar players of the world, I've got 3 pieces of advice for you. The first is learn a D chord. It took me about 2 years to learn a D chord, but I finally got it. It's tricky because it's got those 2 strings on the bottom that you don't want to play. You got to figure out how to not play those. If you hang your thumb over, that helps because that mute out the low E. But the other thing is you take this part of your hand and you put it on the low strings as you strum. So you see how I did it? I picked and muted at the same time. And you can play all the rush songs. And then the second part is to arpeggiate it. So you start doing like... My teacher, when I was a kid, he taught me don't come easy. And I got to practice that one, but that's the other one. And then the next thing, you got to learn a pick scratch. You've heard me do a couple of those. Now the pick scratch is 3 parts. You slide up, you pick scratch down. That's a nice one. And then you slide down. So it's slide up, pick scratch down, slide down. Now the other thing is use 2 fingers when you do the pick scratch. It looks like an emu. Sort of like the bird. You put your fingers in the emu and you hold the pick. And the next thing, you can do this trick where you slide your thumb out, you slide your second finger out, and you can tuck the pick like that. You can do the heavy metal sign, but it also allows you to do... little finger picking stuff. And that's just, or even your... You have this whole other voice, and of course if you want another voice, you get your slide. I recommend the middle finger, even though Johnny Winter used the third. Any more, come to my online school and I'll talk to you all day. All right. All right, you may be wondering what I've been doing the past year or so. I have a guitar school at a company called ArtistWorks. I've done over 10,000 video lessons there, which I can't quite believe, but I did. And I continue to do them. So if you sign up, I can listen to you play, and I'll send you a video lesson just for you and to help you out. I've also done a new record called Werewolves of Portland. From the lockdown, trying to social distance, I ended up playing all the instruments myself so I could breathe my own air. Man, did I have a good time playing the drums. That was a blast. And, making the sound of a werewolf. Hopefully, if all goes well, I'll be doing a guitar camp called the Great Guitar Escape. Amazing guests like Eric Gales, Tony McAlpine, Greg Howe, Bumblefoot will all be jamming with me. And that happens in Long Island in July. And I'm going to be enjoying my TC Electronic MOJOMOJO Paul Gilbert pedal and everything purple I can find, including the shoes. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to me talk. I love you. Rock and roll. I just like looking at that purple shoe when I'm doing that. Like, wow.